Wow, I still cannot. This is happening right now. Standing here on the stage today, fulfilling a childhood dream. For a moment, just look at me. I'm strong, I'm composed, I'm grounded. I have a dream job of my own, and I'm a mother to a smart, beautiful little boy who just turned 2. Well, looking from the outside, it looks like I have it all. I was living my dream life, doesn't it? Like everything is neat, occupied, stable, and incredibly put together. But there is one truth that most people never see. This version of me standing here in front of you today is the end of a story, not the beginning. Well, for such a long time, I haven't been, dare to face the truth that hiding inside of me. And I've been trying to, put it up with every second, every day. And there was one sentence that I've been telling myself in front of the mirror every single day, that I can do it and I will be successful. But that is not everything. The lie, the truth here is, sorry, can I do it again? There was one truth that changed everything. And I realized it when I finally shattered with my own self. Every lie carries not one truth, but two, or maybe even more. So I found myself wide awake at 2 a.m. in the morning, tired but restless. You know that kind of feeling, right? When your mind refuses to turn off because there was tons of unfinished tasks lying there and staring at you in the dark. So desperate for a break. There I was, opening Netflix, mindlessly scrolling back and forth, trying to find something, comforting, something familiar, something distracting enough to help me fall asleep. And all of a sudden, hunger was just there, popping up on the screen. There I was. I didn't think much. I hit play. And a young, talented, fearlessly ambitious cook who dared to burn her arms multiple times without a flickers of hesitations. All for a dream she refused to let go of. And always a 19 years old girl with a big dreams to become something special, even if it means to bear the burn in her arms, sleepless nights, or leaving her family behind. She comes from almost nothing, a cramped kitchen, cooking pad thai in a small family-owned food kiosk tucked inside a local market. Yet, she carried the fierce, almost aging desire to rise above where she started. Well, I remember the scene very clearly because her boyfriend, who not only failed, but also was jealous of her success, come and see her and ask, "Why not me? Am I supposed to be the one who'd be chosen?" She looked at him in the eye and calmly responds, "You weren't hungry enough." When I heard that, something inside me froze. I mean, for some reasons, that line hit me harder than I expected. It reminded me of my own hunger years ago. The whole journey, even the darkest part, was fueled by a ruthless kind of ambitions. And I have to face it every day. That is why I've been telling myself a very simple sentence, yet it carries a lot of encouragement inside me. Standing in the front of mirror every single day and telling myself, I can do it all, and I will be successful. And when I was just 16, hunger, which is a word I didn't fully understand, to be honest. I didn't know that desire and expectation could burn you or even consumes you. Like my mom used to joke, that kind of hunger doesn't wait to be fed. It will soon eat you alive. And you know what? What comes, comes. The moment I turned 19, I was living it. My own raw versions of the girl in hunger. I was consumed by that destructive hunger. The kind that convinces you that sleep is optional, emotions are inconvenience, and limits are for people, those who didn't want it badly enough. Well, I had a story a long time ago when I first entered university. My mom used to say that, okay, if you get into that university, I'll find a way to pay for your tuition fee, no matter how expensive it is. But if you ever fail a class, the deal is off. And that was a promise that I never dared to break, because if I did, my mom will heartbroken, exhausted, and of course, disappointment. But guess what? I thought I was trying hard enough to lighten her burdens, paying for my own meals and ultimately trying to cover full tuitions on my own. And I convinced myself that I was being crazy smart. If I skipped a few classes and worked side by side as an English teacher, I could earn some real money. And I can feel a bit more secured. That was I was thinking. I wasn't just ambitious. There was something more than just that. So, one class skip, and then two, and then three, and before I was aware of it, I had completely disappeared from the lecture hall. I failed my final test and got my very first F. Yes, you heard me loud and clear. I failed with a freaking F. And that was when my mom, heartbroken, exhausted, quietly took the deal back. Not out of anger, but out of disappointment and despair, because she basically had nothing left to give me. Not money, not faith, not hope. So I've been chasing after something called delusional mission to make it. I thought I have fully grown up. I could do something to help the family, something I can do it with myself independently. Being not good enough to be on top, not good enough to make my mom and my dad proud, and not good enough to have everything under control. I was terrified of being not good enough. Once the truth came out, everything inside me caved in. My mind spiraled. It was chaos. I had really hard time. It took me days to get out of bed after crying my eyes out until there was nothing left but silence and guilt. In that awkward silence, dreaded the question that dreaded me the most coming back to me. Was it the right things to do? Honestly, I didn't even know the answer, but I tried. The funniest part is, after all that grinding, after all that sacrifice, I finally admitted I teach English for one reason: MONEY, money. Simply just money. Because I was starving. I was starving for a way out, a way back to school, a way to prove to myself that I wasn't doomed to stay where I had fallen. Money kept me alive. And I needed the money to pay for the tuition fees. But the reality hit me harder than that. I still had to make choices. I had no choice but to set my future aside. And that is when I decided to drop out of school, to work full-time as a teacher. So I worked every single day, 6 months straight. No weekends, no comfort, just hunger. The kind that doesn't come from your stomach, but come from your soul. And until the end, I still could not make it up enough to pay for tuition fees. But I have to ask my friend to help me. And thank God I was lucky enough to have such amazing friend who were willing to show up when I needed them the most. And they were the one who decided to believe in me when I didn't. So there I was. Finally, I made it back to school. I graduated. I paid everyone back, something that I once thought was impossible. I work, I study, I hustle harder than I ever had done in my entire life. But let me tell you about the biggest plot twist of my teaching career, because it didn't always feel this way. From deep down inside me, I have to say, I hate it. I hate it in my gut when it comes to teaching children. I wasn't built for children. I believe so. I think that some of the teachers out there will feel the same way as I am, because children are endlessly chaotic. They are unpredictable. They are noisy and annoying. But I don't know, since when it grew deeper, the more time I spent with them, the more they softened me without noticing. Everything inside me has slightly changed. Their laughter, their creativity, their dramatic storytelling, and the way they celebrate the tiniest victories all started to heal parts of me that I didn't even realize they were hurt. And yes, I had a great time with them, working with them. At first, I'd rather die. But now, I can stand here confidently saying to you that, yes, they are my favorites. One of my top favorites. And if you ask me, would I dare it to try it again? I would say, yeah, definitely. 100% definitely. And along the side, I also learned something for myself. The lie we tell as a teacher and the truth our students tell us back. Those quiet, unexpected truths that once break through my walls, they touch me first. And I know that I was something to them. I'm healed and I was centered. And they reminded me why I got here in the first place. It all makes sense now. And what it come down to, so there was one of my favorite quotes from old time, favorite person in the world, Mark Twain. He said, "A lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is putting on its shoes." Well, my advice here is don't ever wait for the truth to arrive. Just keep going and don't ever ignore your lie. Even the smallest one counts. And yeah, I think that every one of us here all have something to hide. I know it, but don't let it get in the way or, reaching out as an obstacle to prevent you from achieving any further. Just face it. Face it and little by little we will learn how to ride the highs and the low with a bit more grace. And if next time, if a light ever slips out, and I know it will be because we're all humans, don't stop at guilt. Pause, take a step back, and listen, because everything have the truth inside it. Thank you.